Hey, True Believers. Chris Mack coming at you today with Green Lantern, issue 43 from September 2009. This is the prelude to the Darkest Night. And this event happened, as I said, back in 2009. And I remember being so hyped for it because it was saying the dead shall rise. This was just after Batman R.I.P., so a lot of us were expecting that this would be kind of like the return of Bruce Wayne, because we had no idea where Grant Morrison was going with Batman at the time. And I was just so excited at some of the teasing of like heroes that had passed and seeing them as zombies. It was just a really build up. I remember chomping at the bit at my local comic shop saying, hey, can you early release me that number 0 issue? Because yeah, people were chomping for that book. But as we open this, I appreciate that Johns took a minute to introduce who the main leader of the Black Lantern Corps is and kind of what's simmering behind the scenes. So it says, no one is supposed to live forever. And yet as one of the self-proclaimed guardians of the universe, I have. I was there billions of years ago when we first decreed that the ultimate cause of chaos was emotion. And they talk about abandoning emotion, creating the Manhunters, which caused atrocities, which introduces Atrocitus. Talking about the creation of the Green Lantern Corps. And then how the Book of Oa talked about the Blackest night and the emotional spectrum. I know what the coming darkness is. I speak to it. I worship it. I do as it tells me to do. My guardian. I hunger. And take part in the first birth of the first Black Lantern. And here's where we're introduced to William Hand. But before we dive into this is Jeff Johns writing. Penciler was Doug Mankey. Inks was Christian Almy. Colors were Andy Mayer. Covers, well, there's everyone else that was working on the book. And for the life of me, I cannot remember who created Green Lantern. So if y'all could chime in on that, I'd appreciate it. But this opening panel of William Hand is just absolutely disgusting, how he's laying in a grave, cuddling these dead bodies, just bleh. And so he goes, my name's William Hand, and I'm happy. And we kind of get into, he hears this voice saying, William Hand, and he goes, yes, I'm listening. Now, William Hand apparently is not a new character. He showed up a while back. When was it? I can't remember. It was Green Lantern. I think it was issue 29 from, let me see if I have my notes right here, June 1964. So one thing I've always liked about Jeff Johns is he takes like these B villains and underrated heroes and just updates them for modern audiences. And here we see his home. He goes, for as long as I can remember, my family worked and lived at their mortuary on the edge of Coast City. My mother, my father, my 2 brothers. Me, the middle child. My first memory was learning to walk and finding my father at work. My father never related to me. And just at this young age, you see this sociopathic tendencies coming through. He points at the corpse and he goes, pretty. And so you kind of see where this is going, the type of like American Gothic family that they have. And they find that he has some issues. They try to put him in therapy. And he essentially says, I learned to say what the doctors wanted to hear so that they would leave me alone. And to that point, I was known as the black sheep of the family. I still loved them. And as odd as they thought I was, they still loved me. And then the alien came. So we get a first peek at Atrocitus. He sees Sinestro and Hal Jordan trying to take him down. And then he gets this thing called the Cosmic Rod, which gives him immense powers. He goes, deep in that grave, I could see the Green Lantern's ring glowing like a nightlight that was too bright. I needed to shut it off. Sorry, guys, I'm still getting over a cold. And so he makes his own uniform using his family's crest. And then this is where we see him first take on Green Lantern back in the 60s. And he goes, "Who am I? I am the Black Hand." And we get some history from him. But at the end, he comes home. And what he does to his family is something quite horrific. And it's hard to read, don't get me wrong. But the voice revisits him and he goes, "You're not finished. There's one more death." And yeah, it's rough, but it allows him to become the leader of the Black Lantern Corps. So this leads up to the psychoness that is going to be the Blackest Nights that we're going over, guys. I highly recommend this issue. Jeff Johns' initial run on Green Lantern was absolutely phenomenal, and this book is no different. Check out the subsequent issues where you're introduced to Larifleeze and Atrocitus. It's just some good stuff all around. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and grab a copy, or wherever you like to get your action figures and comic books. And if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little Blackest bell next to subscribe, that way we continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all. And hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or your feedback down in the comments below. And I'll make sure to leave the links to our social media pages as well. So with all that said, I hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.